Probably the last person one would imagine selected for a supernatural warning was Samuel Foote, the mimic and buffoon, and yet the so-called English Aristophanes not only dwelt in a haunted house, or at least believed so, but was closely connected with the chief characters of one of the most unnatural tragedies our judicial records have preserved. Foote's maternal uncles were Sir John Goodery and Captain Goodery, a naval officer. In 1740, the two brothers dined at a friend's house near Bristol. For a long time they had been on bad terms owing to certain money transactions, but at the dinner table a reconciliation was, to all appearance, arrived at between them. On his way home, however, Sir John was waylaid by some men from his brother's vessel, acting by his brother's authority, carried on board and deliberately strangled. Captain Goodery not only unconcernedly looked on, but actually furnishing the rope with which the crime was committed. For this atrocity, the fratricidal officer and his confederates were tried at the Bristol Assizes, found guilty and executed. But, say the biographers of Foote, the strangest part of this terrible tale remains to be told. On the night the murder was perpetrated, Foote arrived at his father's house in Truro. He describes himself as having been kept awake for some time by the softest and sweetest strains of music he had ever heard. At first he tried to fancy it was a serenade, got up by some of the family to welcome him home. But not being able to discover any trace of the musicians, he was compelled to come to the conclusion that the sounds were the mere offspring of his imagination. Some short time afterwards, Foote learned the particulars of his uncle's terrible fate, and remarking that the murder had been committed at the same hour of the same night that he had been haunted by the mysterious sounds, he arrived at the conclusion that it was a supernatural warning, and this impression he is said to have retained to the last moments of his own life.